we are going to learn how to get the PocketChip flashed and fixed and running in 2022. Now, we're talking specifically about the PocketChip, which is this guy. So it is the chip computer, but also it is inside this case. So this back here, this is the actual chip. This is the actual computer. Everything that sits on top of it is just peripherals. So what we are going to do is get this chip up to running properly. Let me start it up now. The power button's down here at the bottom. I'm just going to hold that down and the light's going to turn on. Pressing, there's the light. I'll let that boot. So the PocketChip is dead hardware. It is unsupported. The company that made it is gone. These parts are gone. And actually, I believe right now, you can't even buy them. You might be able to buy them third party. So who is this video for? This video is for you. If you are someone who owns a PocketChip and it is not working properly, or you want to get it working properly, this video is for you. If you would like to get a PocketChip, good luck, I think. You might have to get it second party, or third party. You're going to have to buy it from someone, and you're going to have to, there might be issues with it. I actually was playing around with the chip and managed to damage one of my other ones enough that I couldn't get it to work. I might have to dig into that. This is a very, very comprehensive, very tight board. Right now, this PocketChip is working pretty normally, but in our case, we're going to pretend that this is it's not working. Let's go ahead and shut it down. We're going to go through the process of flashing it, updating it, getting it connected, updating it, and getting it to the point where you can use it again on regular hardware. One thing to note about this PocketChip is that there are many, many, many pins on the back here. This is a lot of I/O here, and all of those pins, two sets of 2 rows of pins. And those all need to be pulled out very straightly so that they don't become damaged when these female connectors plug into them. That means that when you pull this out, you need to be, rock on the bottom a little gently, rock on the top a little gently, rock on the bottom a little gently. Very, very carefully, you're doing this wiggle dance and slowly trying to pull it out. If you just grab the back end and yank, you're going to bend the pins in the front, you're going to mess these up, and you're probably going to have to get a mechanical pencil and stick it on the pin and then try to straighten it out. But that's going to be very difficult, very tedious work. Take the extra time, wiggle this off very gently, very slowly, and I don't even like pulling on this on the USB ports. These USB micro ports too are notorious for breaking off. That'd be terrible. Because this also does communication for the programming process. So we've got our PocketChip. This is actually just a battery, a keyboard, and a display, and nothing else. So this is dumb, essentially. The PocketChip is where everything, the chip is actually where everything goes. So what we need to do before we program it, we need to get a couple of header pins like these. You need to be able to connect them. You can also use a paperclip. You just have to be able to make electronic connection between 2 of these pins. So if you look on the side of the PocketChip, on the inside, if you read on the inside, there's lettering printed here that says what the pins do. And one of those letters says FEL, F-E-L. And you want to short that FEL pin to a ground or a GND pin. That's about what it needs to look like. Once the ground pin and FEL pin are connected with a headers or a paperclip or something, it will react as a USB device. So now we're going to need a USB micro connection that does have data. It needs to have a data connection on it. It can't just be power. And I've got here, this is my sudo messages. So this is going to tell me when devices connect. And on Windows, it'll probably do, like a little chirp sound or something. I don't know. It just occurred to me that I'm giving instructions for Linux only. And if you have Windows and you have a PocketChip, why? Why do you have a PocketChip? Give it to someone who uses Linux. All right, don't be like that. You don't deserve the pocket chip if you use Windows. All right, so we're going to plug this in. I really have no idea what happens if you plug it into Windows, so good luck. We're going to plug this in. We're going to look down here. See, now we've got a USB device found. Now this is a little misleading because it doesn't actually show the any particulars about it. It also has USB device string, manufacturer 0, product 0, serial number 0. So it looks a little weird, but this is okay. Don't worry about it. The next thing we're going to need is we need to make sure that your box has U-boot tools and Sun Xi tools. You need those in order to be able to communicate with this. Whatever this flasher, whatever this programmer is, the software needs to have those tools installed to operate it. So this is, if you plug it in and something shows up, it recognizes that there's a device. Congratulations, we're good to go. You can save this chip, all right? Let me go over what you're looking at right now. What you're looking at right now is, this is the guide that we're going to be reading off of. This is a local terminal session. Sorry. This is a local terminal session, and this is my local, my D message, my output. This right here is a pocket chip, and this is that same pocket chip. That is this pocket chip sitting right here. This is the pocket chip that I've already done this on, so I know it works. This pocket chip is VNC'd over here. You can connect to it. There's the screen brightness. That is this pocket chip, all right? This pocket chip is also, I also have an SSH connection to it. So this session here, where the text is white, is me typing commands into this pocket chip right here. I'll flip this tab back. This is, again, my local box here. So we're going to be following this guide, and it's a very good guide and updated April 2021, which is crazy. My goal also here is to give you all the information so that you can read it straight from this video. So if you want to download this video, I would recommend it, because we need to I want to get this information out, and I want it to be available to people even if things go offline, which they likely will. So if you're watching this video and you've got a chip and you're like, I'm gonna get that going one of these days. No, you're not. Today is the day, all right? Today is the day, because we are just barely limping along here, and any number of these repos could disappear today or tomorrow. So totally stop what you're doing. Grab the old hardware, see if you can get it working, see if you can get this connected so that the text shows up here. You can confirm that it is communicating as a USB device. That means we can save it. We can do stuff with it, all right? Or at least sell it on eBay to someone who will save it. So we're going to follow this this set of instructions. This post is licensed. This isn't my own free version, but this is the guy. This is an awesome guy. He also introduced me to this concept of Gemini. Gemini's that's a cool way of handling things. Here is the URL for this website. This is the guide that we're going to be following. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure this is readable anyways, but I want you to be able to, I'm going to make it very extremely readable, all right? So the first thing we're going to need to do is flash a stock image. And to get the stock image, we're going to grab these chip tools right here. So is this. Here's my local box, my local terminal session right here. And I've already run this. I run it in my downloads folder. I've CD'd into chip tools, and I've got this connected, and it shows up as a USB device. We've got the fel shorted out, and we're ready to do stuff. So we'll grab, I'm going to go ahead and paste this in. It's the same command. Just going to hit enter, and there we go. And have to sudo this. There we go. And you can see the USB, we're doing lots of stuff here. Lots of messages. It's talking, the device is setting and resetting. This fel is updating. We're writing bytes. This is going to take a few minutes, I think. The last time it took 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. It counts it in seconds, but this is a normal part of the process. You can see that it's resetting down here. It's disconnecting, reconnecting. This is totally fine. We can see waiting for fast boot. Okay. It's just here. It's writing stuff. It's doing things. There's no indicator lights on this device at all. It says that it's on, but it's working. Now I should note that the command for this ends in P, -P, and that -P is actually related to so that dash that you use there, depending on what version you're trying to install. We've obviously got a PocketChip here, so we're going to do -P because we want this. But if you want to run it as, you know, a regular chip that's just sitting there being a regular computer, you can get a desktop install with this GUI version -G. -S is that's kind of interesting. Might want to run a very tiny chip, turn it into a very tiny server or something like that. Maybe we could do like a Pi-hole type thing. But instructions, there's options here. There's also stuff about building images, and I'm actually kind of interested in that because once I get one of these running, there's always the potential for it losing power, and then it just happens to, you know, it borks the file system, and then it won't boot, which means you have to do this whole process all over again. So I would like to do this and pull an image off of it, and then burn that image, and then have a snapshot. That would be ideal, but I haven't gotten into that just yet. So you can see we've got this going on. It says 9 of 23, so go ahead and just be patient. We are going to, actually we're going to be so patient. We're going to be so patient, we're going to play a little bit. This is how patient we're being. So I can barely see this, but also you might be able to hear this. I added a speaker to this one because that's just awesome. Pretty cool. This is really cool. I'm going to use this as a stylus. Let me calibrate the touchscreen here. Actually, this is another reason for doing this update. The update itself also updates Pocket Home, which is very good. Much improved once upgraded. All done. There it is. Sorry, my dudes. All right, so it is flashed. The flash completed. You know, chip is ready to roll and all that. We're going to go ahead and return to the guide. We've used chip tools. We're going to test it now to make sure that we've successfully connected this. Disconnect. Remove the fell short. Connect gently. Same thing with putting it on. You want to gently kind of rock it back on. Don't do anything if you get any friction like I'm getting. There we go. Okay. It's on nice and tight. Push the power button. Now this is going to be interesting here. So if the install is bad, that little chip guy has like a little speaking box. That speech bubble will fill up. I have had it where the speech bubble progress bar never moves, and that's how you know your file system is messed up. Like it's trying to boot and it just takes forever. So what we have to do now is, first of all, we need to get it connected to the internet. There's a tour that starts up here that we don't really care to look at right now. So I'm just going to press 0 to disable the tour. So now we're here. We are not connected to the internet. And that is the first step to this process. We need to be able to get this connected so that we can start getting the software updated on it. And probably more importantly, get it so that we have a connection to it. We need to take our apt file sources list, and it needs to look like this. How do we get it to look like that? Well, I'm going to, by example, show you on this good working PocketChip. We're going to click on terminal, but we can use, we're going to use Vim, okay? You know, this video isn't for Windows, and isn't for Windows users. We're going to use Vim, and you're going to like it. I actually don't know if Nano is installed on here. Nano, enter. Oh, it is. You lucky. Lucky. That's what you are. Now we're still doing it with Vim. You can figure it out in Nano, all right? You can do it yourself. I'm going to grant you one nicety. All right, there we go. There's a warning that comes up the first time you use VI or you use sudo. And all you have to do is accept it by retyping in the password, which is chip, C-H-I-P. There we go. After that, you'll be right in there. Got this first line right here. That does not change. Next line right here also does not change. This line is actually, I believe it's not commented out. So the proper process for commenting out this line is to go to this line, press capital I, type hash, and then hit escape. And if you just did that, you can hit period and it'll copy that action on the next line. So we've commented out that line. And now this is the line, these are the lines that we really care about. Chip.jf possibilities is what we want to change right here. So we go to opensource.nextthing.co. We're going to select that whole area, hit C to change it, and type in chip.jf possibilities.com escape. This is what your file should contain. I'm actually not sure if this one contains it. Now I'm going to excuse myself while I go through this process on this one, because we're actually going to do it. .com escape. And when we're done in Vim, you of course know how to exit it. Save and quit is capital ZZ. Free gift for you right there. So now we've written that file. I do need to get this connected to the internet first. So I'm going to press the home button down here. That'll bring me back to the home screen. I'm going to choose this the gear icon. This gear icon right here. And then we've got this. This is my Wi-Fi. So I'm going to connect to it on this one. And we are connected. So this one connected just fine. I don't know why, but this one had trouble. This was the process I had to go through. I actually had to get it connected to a different Wi-Fi so that I could install NMCLI. Well, actually, rather, once the update is complete, it'll get NMCLI. But I had to get it on a different Wi-Fi in order to get it updated. And then once it was updated, I brought it home and got NMCLI on, and then typed in my SSID, and then put in the password once it was prompted. And then I connected just fine. You probably won't have that experience, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Our file now looks like this. Now, there's one more file that we need to do. This is that next file, etc apt preferences. We're going to copy this same process. So I've pressed the home button, so I'm back at the home screen. I'm going to Alt, which is the button to the left of space, and then tap, tab. Hold Alt, tap, tab, and I'm back at my command line prompt. Now I'm going to do the same thing for etc apt preferences. This is what you should see. We've got open source next thing co. We're going to do the same thing here and change open source.nextthing.co to chip.jf possibilities. Capital Z, capital Z. So we're connected to the internet. We've got the update applied, and now we're going to do this. This is going to be a slightly time-consuming process. So that's sudo apt update. I'm going to hit enter on that. I'm going to have to enter the password again, chip. Enter, and we're off to the races. While that process runs, I actually kind of need to see that. So this has an octagonal stand here, and then a circular stand. So you want to grab a Bic pen or something and drop it in there. You now have a stand. stands up resting on that. Same with the pencil. Best feature. Yeah, get a stylus. It's actually, some of these menus are not well optimized for this. And if you don't have your screen calibrated yet, that's going to make it more difficult. Still running. Let's go ahead and play some Pico 8. Oh, check this one out. The screen you're looking at is actually coming across a VNC session. I'm shocked how capable this thing can be sometimes. This is while running an SSH terminal and a VNC session. Pico is still doing cool stuff. And this is very playable. I'm actually kind of amazed at how playable it is. I'm not losing frames here. Cool. This is what I think of you, ATC. Blammo. Save my dudes. Ah! Look out, my dude. Let's go. Yeah, this helicopter. Yeah. Osprey has nothing on this helicopter. Heal up some. This is kind of fun. I don't know Dawn Soul, but I do like 100 Rabbits. I literally don't know how to play this game though. Medium potion. Equipped the red mate. Attack the imp. 0 damage. Continue. My shield broke. Took 15 damage. Drink the potion. Get the buckler. Attack the fiend. Took 2 damage. I should have left. Thought I was absorbing. Using the consort. Took 0 damage. Let's try. Dead. Dead. Murdered. Defeat that rat. Take that. First Dawn Soul. 21. Well, I'm in the best shape I can be, so let's try it. Battled your first Dawn Soul. Shield absorbed 11 damage. Took 10 damage. Ah, I see. So that replaces whatever I've already got. Good thing I equipped the red mage. Yeah, it just says waiting for headers. I'm gonna let it sit. Demons. Demons. 0 damage. I think we can do this. I was wrong. It's waiting for headers. I might have to come back to this. Alright. So I think that was a bit of a red herring. It just waited a very long time. Probably the length of the timeout times however many distributions I was trying to get to. But the security updates for Jesse failed to download. But I don't think that's a problem. So here we are. Some failures showing up there, but you know, it's okay. So next step here is we're going to install the OpenSSH server because we need to be able to connect to this in the case that we get locked out of the screen. Because right now, the only way to interface with this is to type on the keyboard and to touch the screen. And that is less than ideal for a device such as this. That's a little finicky. We're going to go ahead and type this into the same terminal command. Sudo apt install. So the goal here is to get different options for interface with this device for a couple of reasons. Yeah, so it's prompting me that it's going to download this. It's warning me that there's going to be 6,128 kilobytes of additional disk space. It's threatening. I'm going to press Y, enter, and there we go. We're going through the process of installing the OpenSSH server, and once that's installed, we're going to get ourselves connected to it. The SSH server is what I'm using over here to type directly into this device. So this is the device that's right here, which is the same device that's right here. This guy, same device. So having lots of options to connect to the PocketChip is not only an improvement on the interface, but it's also kind of required. Because the interface here is, the screen is small, and you might wind up in a situation where you're kind of locked in a window and you can't really escape. Or you might run into a situation where you screw up the keyboard because you're trying to customize it or something, and then you can't really escape. Now, this does actually have a USB port, full-size type A USB port on the back of it, or on the top of it, So you can plug in a keyboard. You know, if you get into a situation where this keyboard no longer works, you can still plug in a keyboard, a USB keyboard, and type into it. Same with a mouse. But this is it's just a good idea. you need it. There is one caveat, though, to understand when you do these remote connection things. If you log in and you do exactly what I tell you to do here, and you get update, you install OpenSSH, you enable SSH as an open service, and then you install X11, and you get X11 running here, so you can interface with it using these cool little windows. You can look at the screen on your computer and type directly into it on your computer. There's me. I'm typing on the screen on this thing on the computer. So this is much easier to interface with. But if you do that, you need to be wary of the security implications of doing so, because this is, and I wouldn't really recommend this just in general. You know, if you want to harden this and turn it into a hacking device, you probably don't need me to tell you all this stuff. But I just want you to know that if you take this device to DEF CON, it's probably going to get hacked, because it's older versions of Debian, older versions of everything. There are few ways around it. But what I'm doing is opening this up pretty widely to make it very easy for you to interface with it. I would highly recommend changing the password. I even think that that's part of the process here. Yeah, updating the host name, highly recommend doing that. I don't, because this device is staying on my private networks, and I'm not connecting this to any foreign, any weird, any suspect networks. Because as soon as there's scripts that'll pick this up as oh, host name chip, eh? Well, I'm going to try username chip, password chip. And guess what? That's the default. So your PocketChip is owned now, and you're probably going to have to do the same process over again. So be wary. The proper process, or the proper step for changing the password, and hit enter. It'll ask me for my old one, which is chip. It'll ask me for my new one, which is going to be cleverly PIHC. That's good. And retype it, PIHC. There we go. You must use a longer password. So chip isn't even a valid password. But that's the process for changing the password. You would change it to something more secure. Keep in mind that this device you need the FN key to access the extended characters. The extended characters that are printed on here, you know, if you want to do a comma or quotation marks or pipes, greater than, less than signs, you need to hold this FN for that. And this keyboard is not the best keyboard, especially this as it stands with these metal rubber domes. So keep that in mind, that you might mistype repeatedly. So be cautious about that. I highly recommend getting one of these faceplate 3D printed keyboards. It's a complete replacement for the front bezel and faceplate, and it evens this edge out, and it puts buttons on here. The buttons have harder edges. It's a lot easier to see. It's a lot easier to feel. It's a lot easier to touch type, and it's much easier to activate these weird steel dome switches, because you have to press in on it, but you can't press in. Like if I press in with my thumb, it doesn't activate. I have to like press in with the tip of my finger, or use a stylus to activate it. It's a very positive feel once it does click, but it's you need to pay attention. All right, so our apt install OpenSSH server is completed. Now I'm going to go ahead with the next one. Sudo system. I'm typing and it hurts. It's annoying to type on. Totally get that keyboard printed. Game changer. You basically can't even play Pico unless you have this keyboard or an alternative to this. This is not playable. You cannot game on this. Okay, sudo system control start SSH. Enter. So that completed with no complaints. Start SSH. Didn't do anything. I just hit enter and it went to the next line. Now I'm going to enable SSH. Running some stuff. Running some scripts. Updating rc.d. Done. So now I should be able to continue this process while connected to the PocketChip. I will check the IP address by typing IP space ADDR. You kind of have to go searching for it, but you will find it. IP ADDR You can't even see it, but the IP address is in that general area. This was this pocket chip. I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to SSH to chip at 2.168.5.4.2.4.2. Enter. Verify the key. I understand that this is a good connection. Chip's password. Chip. Enter. Ta-da. We are now connected to this device. And that means we no longer have to type on this keyboard. So now we are running this new chip headlessly, and thankfully we can go ahead and put our inputs through here now. Oh yeah, there we go. Change the password. Lock root account from direct login. That's actually a good idea. I probably should have done that. Yeah, you can do this. This guy's doing a specific type of login, but I don't think that's necessary. We're just gonna, you can read this and decide if you want to do it, but we're basically down to here. So we're gonna do this. And there we are, performing updates on this pocket chip. Now, you'll note the screen isn't doing anything. You're actually connected on a different session. So, you know, this terminal session is a different terminal session than the one that's up here. So we can go back to the home screen here, and it's doing home screen stuff, but it's still actually in the background. It's doing this stuff. So this is actually probably going to take some time. I'm gonna leave this, so we'll be right back. All right, so that took a bit of time. We're going to, there was one, it does the first half of this command. Once that completes, it performs this command, and you'll have to press Y and enter to do that, to progress. Next, we're going to go ahead and do this one. And do this one. Yes, enter. Go, clean. Yeah, we definitely want to do this. I don't know about those. We're definitely getting Pocket Desk though, and that one has a few caveats, so we'll get to that pretty shortly. Alright, so we got our sudo apt clean done here. We're going to get Pocket Desk installed next. That's the next big thing. Install the locales. You can do that. Probably should do that. Change the host name, probably. These dot files are interesting. This guy's kind of cool. Also like his website. It's he does his own thing. He's a good guy. And Pico, we'll install Pico afterwards. I don't think this clone worked. We'll see if it works here. Yeah, so we should probably get Git installed. That's actually kind of required. The synth is actually really cool. And then some bigger stuff, upgrading to stretch and all that. 17 megs for Git. Bloat, man. I'm just kidding. Let's get Pocket Desk. Yeah, see, this one didn't work for me either. So Pocket Desk, we have the original, like Marshmallow or something like that. There it is. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so this is where you want to be. That's where you want to be. And we already got that. We already did our updates. We'll grab Pocket Desk. That was quick. So this is, so it's pocketdesk.sh. But we're not going to do that because I have had problems with this. So what we're going to do is navigate into the Pocket Desk directory. And the way it works is this Pocket Desk sh runs these scripts. And I've had problem with the first two, the dependencies and the Pocket Home install. So we're going to go through this a little bit manually. We're going to go into dependencies.sh and then pockethome.sh. We're going to navigate into the scripts directory. Did it capitalize? Wow. That's fine. That's okay. That's fine. All right. So we're getting this. We're going to add our repository. which isn't going to work. All of this has to be sudoed. Sudoed. Or just hanging out. Yeah, Pocket Desk is an improvement and a combination of some of the Pocket Home interfaces and the desktop. So it's kind of a combination, so you get to flip between either one. But it does include the Pocket Desk or the Pocket Home update, which is really nice. It has a lot of quality of life improvements, and it makes it easier to process, make changes on it. Where are we? And then scripts, dependencies, all that. There we go. So obviously we're not going to be able to do this. And we've already got our updates. PocketChip, Debian PocketChip updates. We're going to see how far we can get with this. Installs awesome. That's surprising. Chips unbox. All right, looks like it's done. We'll go ahead and see what it complains about when we run this. Of course. So already got most of it. There's a few things: XFCE panel, APT transport, some XFCE stuff, input calibrator. So that's okay. This looks fine. I think we're going to be able to satisfy these dependencies pretty easily. So I did not run this. Obviously, we've got nextthing.co. That doesn't exist. And I've been doing updates. So since I did not update the repository, I did not run the update. So that's all done. Now we're going to go back and head to the next one, which is Pocket Home. This Pocket Home file was giving me trouble as well. We're adding these this PocketChip archive to our APT sources list. We're adding a key here, but this is usually what fails. I think we work around it by removing the HTTPS. Okay, so it errored out when I did it the other time. So now we're going to run this one. Just paste that straight in. Yep. Okay. I don't really have to do this, but we will. Oh, we did actually make an update over here to the APT sources list, so doing that update's a good idea. There we've got our Marshmallow GitHub IO updates. So again, this terminal session is SSH'd into right here. Key expired, APT error, following signatures cannot be verified. But I think that's okay. We'll go ahead and install PocketChip Home. Normally the script runs as root. You run it as a sudo, so the whole thing goes through, but that's not what's going on right now. So we're doing it manually, so in front of those commands you should be writing sudo instead of hitting enter and then it's saying you're not root and then you typing sudo bang bang to get it to run. Reboot to make the changes effective. I don't believe I did that just yet. There we go. Good. Do that. And then there's one trick here for this. This is we're navigated into Pocket Desk scripts where we downloaded it off of GitHub. We want this to be ~pocket home /, and that should be it. I think we're supposed to reboot after that. Let's go back to the scripts. Pocket Desk shell scripts. It runs Pocket Home and it installs touchscreen, keyboard, battery indicator, nicely named sessions, sets the host name, and then changes the wallpaper. Let's do these manually. Let's do sudo touchscreen. Hello? Am I in scripts? Do I need to do this? There we go. That's something that'll trip you up every once in a while. /touchscreen tells you that you're not trying to grab some random touchscreen from somewhere else in your file path. You want to run the one that's local in your folder right now. Let's do that, and we'll do the same for the next one, which is keyboard. Good, good. Next we'll do the battery indicator. Cool. Manage the sessions. And then we're doing host name. And then wallpaper.sh. Good. So now we should be able to reboot this sucker. There we go. So let's initiate a reboot. Looks good. Probably should have done that VNC install first. Yeah, so about that VNC. So yeah, you have to generate the password. And once you generate the password, you need to know, like, this is not, this VNC session is very old. It's very old software. So when you come back in, you're going to be at a actual login, and there is a drop down at the top that looks like XF. When you click it, it'll give you the option for Pocket Home. You want to choose Pocket Home. That'll be your default. Sign in with your name, chip, and your password, and then just hit login. You should have a nice, fresh desktop. There you are. So we've got Pocket Desk. Got a number of quality of life features added here, and I will show them to you through the VNC session. So as I was saying about the VNC session, VNC is not secure. It is not secure. There are a variety of reasons why it's not secure, but suffice to say, it is not secure. So just remember that. Let's get a different IP. 242. If you get this error message, it's complaining that you SSH'd into this host, and now the host has changed. So it's saying that this device has had its key updated, and that since you last talked to it, it now has a new key. And that is a concern for, it's doing a concern. It wants to make sure that nothing, hinky is going on here. Technically, if you're doing this across the internet, this would be a big major no-no warning sign. It might mean that someone rebuilt the box on the remote side, but in this case, we know it's fine. So what you need to do, and what I'm going to do over here where you can't see, I'm going to open up this file, which is in my home folder, .ssh known / known hosts, known_hosts, and it has a little number here, which is the line number, and this is probably going to be associated with either the host or it's going to have the address. So I'm going to open it up here. You can't see. Open that up. I'm going to search for 242. There it is. And I'm just going to delete that line. And there's no more entries for 242. I'm going to save that file. Go back here and do a regular reconnect. It says, are you confirming this is a good fingerprint? I am. Enter the password, and now we're back in. Okay, so VNC is not secure. It is just not. What VNC is for turning it on and then setting up an SSH port forward to get to it. It is not safe for public networks, period. It lacks a lot. It lacks a lot of safety features. So keep that in mind. Still, it is very fast and very useful, and I like it. It's easier for me to show this to you while this is going on so that we can have... Yeah, some of these packages can't be authenticated because the keys are expired. That's okay. And then we're going to create a password. And that's actually what makes this usually pretty insecure. So there are other ways. This is probably a good way of securing it. I just don't care to. I don't like it being open at all. So I would rather SSH tunnel to the device and port forward to it. Is it done? Okay, it's done. Now we're going to run x11vnc store password. We're going to create a password. Again, there might be a better way of doing this, but I would much rather do it the way that I have it. And this is a VNC password. it can be bad. Because again, actually it should be bad. Because if it's bad, then you need to remember that you need to test this and make sure that it absolutely does not have public access, because it'll be super easy for someone to brute force. Okay, so once that password is generated, we can now start the X11 0 session. This no-hup thing was something that I had messed around with, and it seems to work. I don't really recall. Just make sure you get the ampersand at the end of it. That makes it run in the background. Run that. And it creates that that process in the background. So if you want to take this string and turn it into a file, that would be a good thing to do. I think we can do that with XE. Yeah, look at that. So now you could save this as, how do you save in this? How do you quit Nano? It's so hard. Control O, I guess. There we go. I want to save it as home directory, which is tilde / bnc start.sh. Enter. Save under a different name. Yes, I do want to do that. Now we'll quit with Control X. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we've still got a VNC session running for the local session. So let's go ahead and try and hit it. Let me do it over here. This was 242. Chip. There's our boy. Right here. See, look at that. Fantastic. Oh, right, the cursor disappears. The cursor is turned off by default. I turned it on because it's useful right now, but you don't have to do that. I wouldn't recommend it. There we go. Okay, so we've got Pocket Desk set up. We've got our IP address here. We can calibrate our touchscreen. You should calibrate your touchscreen. A spoiler alert: don't do it through VNC. That'd be hilarious. But you just tap the buttons. Tap the. This is actually. It doesn't show up. You just touch the crosshairs on the screen as closely as you can. There we are. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to do the most important part, which is get Pico installed. So the correct way to get Pico installed is to go straight here. And that he keeps updating that, which is great. He doesn't have to do that, but he does, and it's fantastic. And then run these guys. So we'll go ahead and do those real quick here. Let's go squish. Run that. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, that's right. You download it pretty much wherever. Here. Enter my sudo password. Replace the file, yes. Replace the file, yes. Replace the file, oops. Yes. Replace the file, yes. And that's it. And now we do one of these. Troy, this is future Troy. I'm here from the future to tell you in the future, the future. This is my third take. I'm just going to do it. Don't do the last command. The last command is only for if you complete the Pico update. Run those first two commands, and then you click Pico in the launcher, and it doesn't open. If it doesn't open, then run the last command. Try that last command, because it just runs Pico. And sometimes the Pico is mapped to the directory Pico-8, and sometimes it's mapped to the directory Pico-8. You're about to get very confused and create bugs and config problems that take you about 44 minutes to troubleshoot. So don't do that, and just edit this part out. But no one else watching this, don't do that thing that I did. But I'm from the future, so I interrupted. I didn't do it. The time has been lost. The space-time continuum is unstable. Now I should be able to click this. Bingo. Bug squashed. All right. It wasn't actually a bug. I just typoed. I took the short way. There are no shortcuts. Remember that. Let's go to the featured. Do a pause. Go to caves. Yeah, so this is, if you need these buttons at all to be at all reactive, you got to get one of these 3D printed button case things. This is almost unusable. And anything, obviously anything with any speed involved, you can't do it. And you certainly can't do it without looking. So definitely get an update. Upgrade your keyboard as quickly as possible. Get something 3D printed professionally if you need to. You know, find a friend or buy a friend with a 3D printer. Okay, so that took a long time, but this is a perfectly good working PocketChip. There is a speaker modification. Adding speaker to the PocketChip. All you have to do is get yourself an amp and connect it right over here to this guy. So when you look underneath the PocketChip, when you remove the chip off of it, you see these header pins. And when you take off the case, when you open this up, you get access right into that corner where the PocketChip plugs in. And that is what you see right there. And that is where these wires are going to. Can't really see with the light actually, but that's where the light is where those wires are soldered in. And the important thing to note is that if you do this, there's nothing that stops the voltage from coming through when it's not on. And those values, they just kind of float. So then it makes a speaker buzz. So you put a switch on it, something you can turn on and off. Once the PocketChip is booted and the I/O is in control and not floating, it'll be fine to turn the speaker on. Otherwise, if it's off or if it's in the process of booting, you definitely want to turn the amp off. The amp will also draw extra current, so it doesn't really make sense to have it on while you're doing other stuff. But it's really cool. Here's what I got here. Come on now. This might need a reboot or something. Let me crank up the audio. Oh, yeah, you can see this. Cool. Super loud. Yeah, this thing might need a reboot. Oh, it's turned off. Try that again. I'm going to flip my switch here. Turn on the speaker. I'll try again. I have audio filters on. I'm not sure if you could hear that. One more time. There it is. I might have to recalibrate. You might have to recalibrate the screen every time you reboot. So that's it. That's how you get yourself running. The speaker, like I said, you need to get an amp circuit and a speaker and kind of jam it in there. It's kind of hard to fit, so you need to make sure you have something that fits. My on-off switch is mounted up here, but I also cut a hole through the panel in here so that the wires could run through. It's not my best work, but you know, whatever. This guy probably has a better idea. Attach it to the case so that when it comes off, there's just 2 wires running out of it. That's pretty good. That's pretty nice. And then obviously this is super moddable. You should be thinking about what other kind of weird stuff you can do with this thing. What you have now with this PocketChip is a very cool but somewhat sensitive piece of kit. You need to know how to work with it. You need to make sure that you don't break things while you're doing any kind of updates or trying to install software. You are probably going to find yourself back at this video, re-imaging this thing, getting it back up and running, because anytime that this loses battery, anytime that this runs out of power, you have the risk of borking the file system. Like if it's doing a write and then power cuts out right then, it's screwed up. The file system's screwed up. It's not going to boot. And when that happens, you're just going to see that little loading screen go on forever. So be careful of the battery life. Be careful of the battery indicator. Try to get an idea of where the battery indicator should be or needs to be or looks like it should be. Be cautious with it. Be conservative about it. And keep a keep a little battery bank backup that you can just hold next to it or hold on the back or Velcro to the back and then plug it in so it has a little extra bonus power in case of emergency, because it might just be easier to let it, shut it down and close the file system cleanly. The other thing is these connectors at the top here, all this, those are open connections to straight on the chip. So if I grab, I have something that conducts metal and I just happen to brush across some of these, and I'm not actually going to do it because there's an actual the battery terminal is connected, like the LiPo battery terminal is connected right here. So you need to be cautious about this. And if you're running and you've got lots of battery and everything's going great with your PocketChip and you're having a fun time with it, you got it just where you like it, and you throw it down and it hits something metal, I've got this USB key right here. I could very easily toss it down and the USB key lands just so that it shorts 5 ground to one of the GPIOs, which is already pulled low or something, or you short it badly, and then power's cut immediately and you borked your file system and you have to rebuild it now. So that's part of this process, is making this an easier process for rebuilding so that when that happens again, you're like, cool, I've done this 5 times. I've got 2 of these. I have killed one of them while trying to mod it, but the other ones I have rebuilt probably 3 times. So it will happen. Expect it to happen. Save your data, back it up somewhere else. It's a weird piece of kit, It's just finicky. And you need to be careful with it. If you do ever reach a point at which you are done with this and are incredibly frustrated and you're ready to throw it out the window, just put it on eBay for like $5. Just get it into someone else's hands. Like I said, there's nothing else like this. They're not made anymore. Probably never going to be made again for a variety of reasons. But keep it alive. Keep it safe. Do your best. If you treat it right, if you take care of it, if you use it the correct way, if you don't abuse it, and if you understand its limitations, it is an amazing piece of work that there's nothing else like it. Yes, there's nothing else like it. And you can complain that it's, an old processor and it's single core, it's not that fast. Yeah, don't push it out of its comfort zone. Understand what the tool is for. Don't be trying to screw a screw in with a hammer. Use it correctly. Understand its limitations and embrace them. And definitely play Pico 8 games. So Pico is really cool. You should totally be doing that. So if this is your 2nd time watching this video, or 3rd time, or 5th time, good luck. I hope you enjoy your Pico or your PocketChip. If you come up with new mistakes, if you run into issues, or if if this guide becomes out of date, please post something in the comments. And download this video. Save it. Keep reference material available to you, so that you can keep this this dead hardware. Keep this dead hardware going. And check out the U console, the micro console from Clockwork. Yeah, see? This is coming up. And Clockwork does pretty good work most of the time. So, very interested in this. This is actually what got me building these again, getting it back up and running. So, keep these guys in mind and keep an eye on them. They do tend to have long tails, so don't rush. And don't pre-order. Never pre-order. If you pre-order, we can't be friends. All right. Let's just pocket chip our way out of here.